Listen, I've always traveled a little differently. I don't like reservations. I don't travel with the sheep.
I'm a loner, Daddy. A rebel.
Hey everyone, you know what I hate? I hate reservations. I hate reservations because they seem to just chase me the whole RV trip. I like to be free from timetables when I'm traveling in my RV, and unfortunately, reservations kind of time box you in, and all of a sudden you've got this stopwatch chasing you as you're driving down the freeway. I don't like that feeling. And one of the other reasons I don't like reservations is because sometimes you got to cancel them and you lose your money, which is what I just did. I just lost my reservations over at Thurston Meadows campground for a whole long Easter weekend, because basically I screwed up my wrist really bad, and I knew that if I tried to do a hitch up and all that, I was going to make it a lot worse. So I did the adult thing and said, okay, we're not going to go camping. I didn't want my money back, and I even asked to move, just to reapply part of that money I spent to another reservation. Nope, they kept it all, and I got nothing. Nothing. And that's why I don't like reservations. Policy is policy, I get it. Sometimes places won't budge with reservations if you have to cancel them. Sometimes you can't make reservations at all because the place is really popular. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to go visit Banff and Jasper National Parks here in Canada. It's sort of like the Grand Canyon or Yellowstone of the north up here. It's where everybody likes to go. These are the biggest national parks, it seems, that people like to go to. And they are often booked up. They've got a lot of bookings and not so many places to stay. However, we have gone there 5 or 6 times now, and we never make reservations, and we've visited all parts of the parks. And today I'm going to tell you how to do that, how to visit Banff and Jasper without having reservations. I've done it. I'm going to show you how to do it today. Now, you can get to Banff easily by coming up from the United States up through Montana or Idaho. You can come in from Alberta in the east. But I'm out here out west, and a lot of visitors like to come fly to Vancouver. They get those Fraser Way rental RVs, then they head up to Banff. We see this all the time. So I'm going to start with how I do it coming in from Vancouver, but really, no matter what direction you're coming into, you'll be able to apply these tips to your trip. So a lot of times when I'm coming in from Vancouver, I'm starting late, and so after we head out, it's really only a few hours of driving before we find our first place to stop. Now, before we go any further, I've got to say, you really should try iOverlander if you're going to be doing this kind of boondocking and improvising like we do. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I don't have a discount link. I'm not even going to put a link to it. But check out iOverlander. It's a pretty good resource we find. And one of the things we found easily as we head on out is this off-road area that you can just park out overnight. This is just an example. We'll stay at the Logan Lake Forest Off-Road Park. It's right off the freeway. And we found it in iOverlander. The nice thing about iOverlander too is if you're like us and you've got a travel trailer, you can kind of sense out, is this thing for big rigs, or is this just some van lifer doing some stealth move in the back of a parking lot? We don't camp like that. We're not stealth at all. So we like to camp where you can stay and where it's legal. So the first thing we try to do is use iOverlander to make sure we find legal, appropriate places that we can stop. So this is one of the first stops we'll make. Again, it's free. And it's something we can do without ever having a reservation. There's always space at the off-road park. The other thing we'll do, and it's time to talk about this before we get any further, is we will sometimes use rest areas. That's right. It's sometimes controversial, but we will stay at rest areas. Now, of course, you're not supposed to camp in rest areas, but you can stay for 8 hours. And 8 hours means you can pull in at the end of your day, chill for a little bit, get a good night's sleep, and head out as soon as you wake up. And that's generally the way we do it. We'll head out as soon as we wake up, we'll go into the next town and get some coffee or something, enjoy ourselves at some little bakery, and start our day. And along the road, there are many rest areas, starting with Zokios all the way out there close to Vancouver. We've got Revelstoke. And I will say the rest areas out here in rural Canada are a little different. I try to avoid the rest areas deep in the metropolitan areas of California, Washington, Vancouver, because those tend to have a very small number of spaces if they haven't been taken over by the homeless already. And in general, those really don't have a lot of space to overnight. But when you get up there, to Revelstoke and other places, you're going to find miles of spaces. And I've never seen any of these parking lots full on the busiest of nights. Remember, stay out of the way of truckers. They have to stop legally. You can go on to the next stop. And this third one, again, on our way to Banff, is there's a couple of Walmarts, especially the one in Kamloops. We've stayed there before. We've shown it on this channel. It is a place that allows it. They don't have any signs. They're okay with it. Always check in with management if you can. And of course, always go buy something wherever you stay. If you're using a company's parking lot, you should be buying something there. But hey, you're getting into Banff, right? We're getting close. You either drove straight through the all 9 hours, or you did what we do, and we usually go in and we stop, and then we get to Banff on day 2. Now, here's some things to know about Banff and Jasper. You can go straight to that town with your RV, and both towns have parking for your RV. So you can day park at actual Banff and Jasper down by the train stations. The train stations have oversized parking. You pay a fee. Nothing's free in life. I forgot exactly what it is. It's $10 or something like that. You can stay there for a good part of the day. And if you have bikes, you don't even have to think about it. You can get all over Jasper and Banff for the day during the day trips with your bikes easily. If you're on foot, you can still get out there and enjoy a great portion of the towns themselves. And if you're mobility impaired, well, you're only going to be able to go so far away from the train station, but there are other ways to get around town. And there are some interesting surprise spots. We parked right next to a supermarket, I think it was the IGA, that actually had like large vehicle parking. And then they had a sign up saying like for a few hours, a couple times a week, it was for a special bus zone. But I wasn't there during that period of time, so we were able to park right there next to the grocery store, right in the center of town. Made for a great restock of the RV. We stayed there for hours. So don't be afraid to pull into Banff and Jasper with your RV. Any place a delivery truck goes, your RV can go. That's what I always say. So that's day tripping to Banff, but you got to deal with overnights, and that's really the hard part, right? That's where the reservations come in. So let's start talking about how you can stay in and around the park with no reservations. Coming in from Vancouver, and shortly after the turnoff for the Icefields Parkway, on your right or on the southwest side of the freeway, you're going to see what is the former Lake Louise Park and Ride. One of the ways you'll notice it is it's a very large parking lot coming up on your right. It's just a little driveway that pulls into it. You'll also now see that they have one of those watercraft inspection stations there a lot. So if you're going there in the day, you'll often see a guy with a pickup truck and a couple of cones looking at, kayaks and things like that. You'll see some trucks there. They often stop there for a rest. But around the corner, right there in that same lot, is this official campground. It's a Parks Canada officially blessed RV park campground. Basically, it's a place to park your RV off-grid, and you're only allowed to park for one night. But last time I was there, it was like $14 and change to park there for the night. It's never been full. I've seen a lot of people there, but this is a massive place. It's really quiet if you go into what I show here in the yellow section. It's actually kind of behind a berm between you and the freeway, so it's very quiet, but you don't get very good cell reception. And up there in the red zone, you can hear the freeway a little bit, but you get good reception. So, choose your poison here. There's also restrooms there. And I want to say again, this is not the current Lake Louise Park and Ride. This is the former Lake Louise Park and Ride. This is one of the most versatile tools we have, because when we're coming in from Alberta, when we're coming down from northern Alberta, we're kind of always coming through this section, and we'll just plan to stay here overnight in either direction. Because heck, for $15 to have a sanctioned official spot with a trash and all that kind of thing, bathrooms, it's worth it. And a lot of people don't know about it. Another one that a lot of people don't know about is the Athabasca Glacier. Now, it's real common that people, when they're out there, go up the Icefields Parkway. And halfway up the Icefields Parkway, you come to the Columbia, I think they're called the Columbia Icefields. It's officially the Athabasca Glacier that people tend to take these big, massive off-road buses up to. We've done it. It's a lot of fun. It's worth doing at least once. You can drink some glacier water fresh off the glacier. And at the end of your trip, you can park in that parking lot with your RV overnight. Legitimately, there's a sign on how to do it and how to pay for it. And again, it was like under $20. I think it's $17 now or something. It's not a lot. The parking lot's a little slanted, so you want to be at the top or on the sides, or bring a couple extra pieces of wood so you can sleep level. But I'll tell you, spending under $20 and having this kind of view of the Athabasca Glacier for your sunset and your sunrise, I mean, it's $1 million view for $20. And it's dead quiet out there at night. So here you are staying in the center of the Jasper Banff zone in your RV for under $20. no reservations needed. Now let's talk about Abraham Lake and the public land use zones over in Alberta. A lot of folks coming in from Vancouver, they don't realize that Banff and Jasper are just the start of Alberta. And there's a whole world of Alberta just on the other side of the Rockies. It's called the Eastern Rockies. And it's got some intense camping, it's got some great people, and it's something you don't want to rule out in your options when you're going to Banff and Jasper, even if you're coming in from Vancouver. Now, this place that I ran into a few years ago really shocked me. Halfway up the Icefields Parkway, we all know that there's basically one intersection. There's a gas station there, restaurant and all that, little stop. And you can head east. This is one of the only spots you can head east from between Banff and Jasper. And that's going to take you in towards Abraham Lake. 30 minutes from the Icefield Parkway, you'll find Abraham Lake. An absolute gorgeous Banff level views, Eastern Rockies, just gem. We found it. We stopped in our tracks. I've got so much footage of this place before we even stayed there just because it was so pretty and it's so quiet. Now, admittedly, on the holiday weekends and stuff, some of the campgrounds there, this is where the folks come in to party a little bit. But in general, you're going to find it to be just as quiet and mellow as Banff. And it's only $30 annually to get a public use pass to park in these areas and a whole bunch of areas in Alberta. Now, it is per person, kind of like a hunting pass. So folks in Alberta know all about this. You just go online, you sign up, you get your public land use zone pass, and then you can go out and park basically anywhere in these areas that are effectively similar to Crown land. You just park where you want, pack out what you bring in, and make sure you've got your little license with you in case the ranger ever shows up looking for it. Now, that $30 annually is going to get you to Abraham Lake, where you can park in a campground or you can just park in a spot that you found that you want to stay in. It's a pretty loose location. That's why they call it public land use zones. We've stayed in quiet little zones off of like a Forest Service road, and we've stayed right in the campgrounds. You can unhook and you can go into the park for multiple days. So this is a solution where without a reservation, you can just go out there, find a place to tuck your trailer in, unhook, and head on back into the park day after day, and $30 once paid, or $30 per adult. And you only have to pay that once, and it gives you access to all this stuff for the year. Every year we buy a PLUZ pass when we head over to Alberta. And Abraham Lake is an absolute perfect gem. I don't know why more people don't know about it. And I'm sure somebody in Alberta is probably mad that I'm putting out this video telling more people, about how to go out there to have your Banff Jasper experience. Now, these places I've showed, you could go during holiday seasons, off holiday. You're generally going to find spaces there. The next one is Jasper Overflow Camping. Now, this is a very large, bare bones, dirt lot, basically, with lots of spots in Jasper. It's the overflow camping area. You just show up, see if they got any space. Now, I do understand during peak season, if you're going on a holiday long weekend or something, you may find this one actually full. But if you show up early, I bet you're going to find a spot here every time. When you go there off season, there's lots of space. It's not very expensive, $26. There's no hookups, so again, you got to be on your own. All these solutions assume can operate self-sufficiently for a couple of days. And the Jasper Overflow lot, it has gorgeous views. You can really see this whole valley. You can see mountains all around you. Now, it doesn't always work out when you go on this no reservations game. Sometimes some places closed or some places full, and you got to come up with something else. So this happens sometimes at the Jasper Overflow lot, right? You go there, it's a busy holiday summer weekend, and it's in fact full. What are you going to do? Well, from a Jasper Overflow lot is actually a series of options that are all either free or fall under that same $30 PLUZ pass I was telling you about back at Abraham Lake. If you leave Jasper and head into Alberta towards Hinton, Alberta, you're going to find a whole lot of options. Besides official campgrounds and hot springs that are along that route that may in fact have paid spaces, you're going to find the Brule PLUZ. That's another public land use zone area where you can park wherever you want pretty much and just camp. There are other PLUZs along the way on the way to Hinton if you just look it up. And there's official provincial parks like Wild Horse Lake. We've actually stayed at Wild Horse Lake. And a cool thing about provincial parks in Alberta, not all of them, but everyone I've stayed at has a big pile of free campground wood for you. And they refill it almost every day, and you get an unlimited wood supply for your campground. So maybe $5 more than what you're paying over in BC, but you're getting free wood. So besides the couple of PLUZs and Wild Horse Lake, let's just say you bombed out at all of these. I mean, you know, rolling the dice, going out there and improvising, sometimes things don't work out. Let's say you end up all the way out now in the town of Hinton. You're less than an hour from Jasper now, and you're in this very small, wonderful little town of Hinton. And you're going to run across a Friesen Brothers and a Walmart. I know for some people staying in these parking lots is a taboo, but if you've got a trailer, an RV, or a truck, and you pull up to Friesen Brothers, you're going to see the biggest sign you ever saw that said, RVers welcome, come stay the night. You'll see the same thing over at the Walmart. RVers are welcome to stay the night in the parking lot. They literally invite you to stay. Why? Because you bring business. I've never seen anyone go to a Friesen Brothers, which is an awesome grocery store, by the way. If you like meat, you're going to love Friesen Brothers. They allow RVers and trucks to stay there. They invite them to stay there. And of course, I've never seen an RVer stay there and not get out and go to Friesen Brothers and buy some food. That's how it works. Really, I wish more businesses did this, but I get it. It's not always easy to manage that kind of crowd, an RV overnight crowd. Next thing you know, you got people moving in who ain't leaving. But clearly here in Alberta, they don't have that problem. So in Hinton, Alberta, if you kind of strike out and you didn't find anything at these PLUZs that you liked, and Wild Horse was filled, and Jasper Park was filled, well, you can always end up in Hinton. It's not the worst place to end up, I'll tell you. I like that little town. So from Hinton all the way up to the actual Jasper Overflow Park itself, you have got less than an hour's distance from Jasper Park, where you've got full access to all of these options, no reservations. In the middle of the parks between the two, you've got Abraham Lake and Athabasca Glacier. These things, again, they're not free, but they're almost free, right? I mean, $30 a year or $14 or $17 a night. I mean, come on, man. What more do you want for no reservations? That former Lake Louise overnight area, they got a sign there, you can't stay there more than one night, but it doesn't say you can't come back and stay there another night. So often on a trip through the area, we'll end up staying there twice, one on the way out and once on the way back. For the record, I have seen people stay there a couple of nights, but I'm not going to endorse that in this channel because that's outside of the rules. You make your own choices out there, though. So if you're still with me on this video, thanks for sticking around. I really hope all these ideas helped. I'm going to put all this information in the description, so make sure you head over to the description. You'll get all the information there that I put in here, all the names of the places. If you live over in Alberta and you're angry at me for telling everybody about all these cool places,
I'm sorry!
I'm sorry.
I'm
Enough.
sorry!
That's enough, Howie. That's enough, dear.
I'm
That's
awfully
just fine.
sorry.
You have a right to complain. You have a right to be upset, especially the way BC is treating you this year with the extra $20 camping fees. I ain't happy about that either. So don't avoid going to one of the most beautiful places on earth just because you can't get a reservation. I stand by it. You don't need a reservation. We go without reservations, and we've had a wonderful time. Parking with your RV isn't as easy as a car, but you can park in most places in Banff and Jasper with your trailer. There are a few places that are a little too small, but there's more than enough park to fill your dance card. So get out there, enjoy yourself, head over to Banff, check out Jasper, and get busy living. We're going to have more camping videos coming soon. We're heading over to Alberta in just a couple of months, over to the Alberta Outdoor Adventure Expo. If you don't know about that place, look it up, and it's really close to Jasper and Banff. The Eastern Rockies is a magical place. Have a great camping season, everybody.